Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the indie comic Otis Stein. And this was sent to me by Skinny's Comics over on Twitter. And they sent me this comic a while back, and I read it a few times since they sent it to me, and I asked them if I could do a video about it on my channel, and they gave me full permission to show the whole thing and talk about it and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. So right away I want to talk about the cover. And I really like the cover. It really gets across the point that this is going to be a horror comic. That's what you're getting into, the way this is presented. And it has this overall kind of like black background, and I got the reds and yellows and stuff, and the reds really pop against that black. And it really kind of gives you an idea of what the story is going to be about. So I have to say, I really do like this cover. And then we have two of the main characters, and the art style in this comic is it's got that homegrown look to it, that indie look to it. And I actually really like this illustration because it looks like it was almost done maybe like with watercolor or some watercolor pencils or something. I'm not sure, but I do like that illustration. I like kind of like the water look, kind of more of the faded colors for that. And then on this side, we've got some dedications and stuff to friends and family and people that were involved in the project. And then we got the credits page. So this was written by Matthew D. Veely. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. And art and colors by Carlos F. Rodriguez. And then we got some more pencils by Michael Layton. I think that's how it's pronounced. I hope I'm not butchering anyone's last names. So I want to talk about the art style before I go on with the rest of the comic. When I've reviewed other comics on my channel, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, and it's getting an art style that lines up with the type of story that you're telling. I always think that's really important, because sometimes I've read comics where the art style is good, but it doesn't like match like the genre of or the style of story they're trying to tell, if that makes any sense. It would be like, I'll give an example, like Jim Lee and Ed McGuinness, like their styles, they can almost draw anything and make it cool, but their styles really work for mainstream superheroes, not necessarily for horror. Where for horror, it would be better if you got someone more like Bernie Wrightson and artists like that, who they're known for their horror artwork. And so that's one thing about this comic, that the indie style, it's kind of got this rough, a lot of cross-hatching style, a lot of heavy shadows and things like that. So this art style it just lines up perfectly with this type of story that you're trying to tell. And back during the dedication page there, when they were talking about friends and family, the writer was talking about how the old Universal monster pictures and stuff like that were a big influence. And his dad used to watch a lot of horror movies and black and white sci-fi movies and things like that. And you can kind of see this obvious from the comic, because the comic was inspired by Frankenstein, the old black and white Universal one. You can see that way the character is designed, and you can also see it in the way the comic is presented. It's in black and white, it's in gray tones like an old Universal monster movie. And I like that because I'm also a big fan of the old black and white Frankenstein films, especially the second one, Bride of Frankenstein. I really love that one. And same thing with the book, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Read that a few times. So I wanted to get that out of the way with the artwork. The artwork really suits the style. The style of the art style really suits the story that they're telling. So I'm going to talk about the plot. So this is a first issue. So this kind of just kicks off a larger arc that they're going to be telling probably sometime in the future. So we have this character of Otis, who him and his wife Mary, they're having a lot of problems, financial problems, because their daughter Charlotte had gotten cancer, and medical bills were starting to rack up big time. And so to try to pay for the cancer treatments, they take out another mortgage on their home from the bank, and it was a really bad deal, and their daughter ends up passing away anyway. And so now they're not making ends meet. Now their daughter is gone. Now they're on the verge of losing their farm and their house. And so Otis decides he's in a desperate situation, so he's going to start making moonshine. That's something his grandfather used to do, and so now he's going to take it up, sell it on the side to make back enough money so they can keep their place and keep their lives together. Now, the other thing is Otis's wife has a secret. There's more to her than meets the eye. That Otis himself, he suspects there's something going on there, but he doesn't really know what it is. But the secret is that she was actually part of a cult, and this cult was actually the ones who were working with the banks for them to get the second loan. So it's all kind of connected in ways that the main character Otis doesn't really understand yet. And so that's what the story's about. Now this cult is coming to collect on this really bad deal. He thinks it's just the bank, but there's souls and demons and evil cults involved in all this stuff. And so these pages of them living their lives. You know, he's telling Mary here that he's going to start doing the moonshine business again. Now, over on this page, we got a flashback where we get her side of the story, where she made a deal with this evil cult that, because she was involved in all this magic and stuff like that, to save her daughter, but the price was too high. The price was going to be her husband's soul, so she wouldn't go along with it. So then the daughter dies, but not only that, they're going to lose their farm. So then he goes out, Otis, he starts trying to brew up his first batch of moonshine, his corn whiskey, and then he falls asleep and his brewing mechanism there explodes and it kills him. And so his wife sees it. And I kind of got the impression that this just wasn't some accident, that some mistake he had made, shining like maybe this evil cult was behind this, of him getting blown to pieces. And so now we get to see that there's a lot more to Mary than just being Otis's wife. She's in all these dark arts. So this is where you see more of the Frankenstein, influences come into the story here, because she's literally putting him back together like Frankenstein. She's doing all this alchemy and black magic and stuff, which is a lot closer to the novelization of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein than it is the actual Universal monster film. Because in the Universal monster film, it was more a scientific way of bringing the monster back to life with the lightning bolt, where in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, you kind of got the impression that it was kind of very vague how he brought the monster to life, but you get the impression there might have been a bit of black magic or some kind of alchemy involved. So this is kind of reminded me more of the book than the black and white film. So she's sewing them back together. She's going to bring them back. And then this evil cult shows up, and they're here to collect. They want Otis. They want him to be like a herald or some kind of harbinger. I have to say, this page right here is my favorite page in the whole comic. I like this. This is really done well. You kind of got the cult coming in through the back door there, and she's got them laid out on the table. And you kind of see like the smoke that has faces and stuff in it, of evil spirits coming in. It's a really well done page. This is my favorite page. This is my favorite piece of art out of the whole comic, is this one right here. And so anyway, they interrupt ceremony. They get her, tie her up to a chair. And then we can see that now they've brought Otis back to life, and he's totally under their control. And so to show how much control they have, we're going to get Otis punch his own wife to death. So he starts laying a pounding on her, but she won't give in. She won't come back. They want her to come back and rejoin their cult. She won't do it. She said she'd rather die. There is a part of the story here I'm a little bit foggy on, I'm going to be honest. And it's this part right here, where he orders Otis to kill her, and then he stomps on her, and you get the impression he kills her. Now after that happens, it's kind of like somehow maybe like shocks him back to his senses, and now he turns on the cult leaders. You can see now the next few pages, this is where all the action begins. But there's something else I wanted to talk about the artwork that I really liked, and it's a simple thing, but I think it's pretty effective when it comes to horror comics. I really like that the gutters are all black. and they're not just white, because it gives this feeling of you're in constant darkness and there's this backdrop of shadow. And I really like that they decided to do that with the gutters. It's only a minor thing, but I think it really works. So now you can see that he's going to town, he's killing off all these cult guys. We kind of get a look at the characters, you know, supernatural powers. Especially this here where they blow a hole in, but then his intestines grow back and they shoot out, wrap around this guy and basically consume him. And on top of that, there's a lot of gore in this comic too. And here we have a lot of action going on here. And the other thing I like about that, it's not like dialogue heavy. So that kind of gives if you want to slow action down in a comic book, just add dialogue. If you want to speed up the pace for the reader, take out the dialogue or lessen the dialogue. I read that a long time ago in a How to Make Comics book that I have here somewhere. It's a way to create like pacing in a book for the reader. So if you want a sequence to go, you want action to go by really fast and frenetic, don't have any dialogues, just have the pictures, kind of like what they've done here. So it's like bang, 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 bang. You get the impression that this happened really fast. He wiped these guys out pretty quick. Now this is the other part. Now, I'm not sure, is his wife dead? Because it seems like she's warning him somehow. Now the cops are showing up and he has to run. Now that's the end of the comic. Now that's the thing I'm not sure of. Is his wife dead and this is her spirit talking to him somehow? Or is she able to come back to life as well? So here is some more artwork. This is by another artist, Jen Snowden, it looks like. A sketch of Mary. And then we have another sketch by Jason Gonzalez, Heartfelt Otis. And then we have this, I like this one where he's got the bear Frankenstein on it. Crack into a great time with ice cold Frankenale. That's a pretty cool illustration as well. And we have one more at the end here. So I have to say, this is a pretty good comic, and it really gets you anchored into the story. It's a good first issue, and it really leaves everything going with a cliffhanger. Now, because it's kind of left me wondering, okay, what's the deal with the wife? Obviously, she's going to be a main character, but it looked like she may have been dead. Is she going to somehow come back to life? And then the cops show up, and now he's on the run. And how much of his life when he was alive does he remember? Does it just come back in flashes, or is he fully aware of what happened to him at this point, or is that something that's going to have to unfold for the character later on down the road? Good horror comic, and I like the artwork. It matched the story that they were telling. And so what I'll do is I'll leave links for the artists for Skinny Comics in the description below this video, so you can follow them on Twitter, and you can look at maybe getting a copy of this yourself, or seeing if there's any other issues out there right now. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.